Hey there, I'm John.
And I'm Josh.
And I'm Bobby.
And we are going to talk about college football, the results of Week 14, the final official week of college football season. And first we're going to jump into number 24, Virginia Tech went to Virginia. And Bobby, you want to jump in there?
Well, it didn't last long, that ranking. Wahoo, as they would say. Virginia just outplayed them. I think it was an entertaining game, and Virginia outlasted them.
And both teams had 3 losses going into the game. And I think, at least I know for Virginia Tech, based off the beginning of the season, this was a ton better than they thought they were going to be doing. So kudos to Virginia for winning, snapping a 15-year losing streak, but good for them.
Yeah. Good luck against Clemson.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we had a pretty big one. Number 18, Cincinnati, facing number 19, Memphis. There was a lot on the line for these two teams, maybe more so for Cincinnati.
It was, yeah.
But, yeah, so Memphis pulled this one off.
They did, to no one's surprise, really. Memphis by far looked like the better team.
I don't think anybody was surprised by this.
And so there's going to be a rematch coming up. You know what they say, hard to beat the same team twice.
Yeah,
so
they do say
we'll
that.
see what happens.
Games played at Memphis?
Right.
Again?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe so. I believe Group of 5 does highest ranked team in the conference gets the home field advantage.
No. Then we had Boise State went to visit Colorado State.
Right.
And won that one, 31-24.
They did.
Any thoughts on how that game went?
I mean, it was about as expected. The senior, Jalen Henderson, is still starting at quarterback. Looks like he'll be starting versus Hawaii as well. I've heard Hank is better. So they're just choosing to start Henderson right now because he has the hot hand. He's playing fairly well, doing what he needs to do. Personally, I wish we'd start Hank because he went 6-0 at the start of the season. He's a freshman, clearly talented. But, if Henderson's winning, I don't care.
But is it concerning to you that they only won by a touchdown versus Colorado State?
And Colorado State was like 4-7, right?
Watching the game, there was never a moment where I was like, uh-oh, Colorado State might win this.
Mm-hmm.
There was just never like any fear. We had the lead. We kept the lead. And this was Colorado State's bowl game. They're done now. They don't have any more games this season. This was their chance to shine. Like, I bet the coaches were literally telling them, like, this is it. This is our last game. Let's give it all we got.
Give it your all.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
All in all, not that concerned.
All right. So then some of the big teams as far as Ohio State playing Michigan. We had that question of can Michigan hang with Ohio State? And yeah, the answer was no. They couldn't hang with them. I mean, 56-27 was pretty ugly.
I mean, you were saying they lasted till the fourth quarter. Yeah. They did.
But when we watched the game, they had too many mistakes. They were fumbles. They were just bonehead penalties.
Yeah, and it reminds me of another team, but yeah.
Agreed. And honestly, I know I'm going to say this again. Harbaugh, he's not getting what needs to be done at Michigan. This is a team that, recruiting-wise, you have some of the best talent in the country.
Was this like 7 in a row that they've lost
to Ohio State? Yeah, something like that. I
think
he needs to go. I think there needs to be a change for Michigan to start competing.
Be careful what you wish for because they're only, 9-3 or 9-4. And sometimes teams never recover after a coaching change. So.
Absolutely. Okay, then we have number 3, Clemson. Played at South Carolina.
Next.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing to note here is,
38-3.
and it still drives me crazy, is this South Carolina team is so bad, yet they beat Georgia, and you're still going to rank them in the top 4?
Yeah.
Did you see what Clemson did to this team? 38-3. Georgia is not a top 4 team. Georgia's not a top, in my mind, losing to South Carolina is worse than what Oklahoma or Baylor or any of these other, or Utah, any of these other teams have done.
Okay, to defend Georgia.
No defense.
Listen, okay. Where were they playing these? They were playing really tough games in the middle of the season. It was a trap game. It was a sandwich game. Clemson got to roll.
We're talking South Carolina.
This is South Carolina. This is like a 4-win team.
They've had a horrible
so
season.
Bad.
Yeah, and you can see how horrible they were when they played Clemson.
Yeah, no excuse in my mind.
Then you had the Iron Bowl. Alabama went to play Auburn at Jordan-Hare Stadium. And
Mac Jones.
A lot of people, Mac Jones. I mean,
2 pick sixes. Yeah,
it was pretty ugly. And then the penalties for Alabama were just hideous. They just got penalized over and over and over again.
Could
Lack
it
of
have
discipline,
ended?
Poor coaching.
We all knew it'd come down to a kick, right? Yeah. I mean, come on, it's Alabama. The second they came out, I was with a bunch of Alabama fans. They all knew he wasn't going to make it.
No, we knew. I looked the other way.
Yeah, the confidence in Alabama kickers is so minimal. And any team, 13 penalties?
But here's the thing, and I know Alabama's defense is not what it's been, but they lost to Auburn by 3, and they lost to LSU by 4. with a backup quarterback or the hobbling quarterback, I mean, it's still respectable considering they didn't win.
But they let a horrible quarterback like Bo Nix get 48 points.
I will
I
say
mean, that's pretty pitiful.
I have Malzahn.
That's a
He's
really
going to get
bad
another
defense.
extension. He did what he needed to do.
Yeah.
He
Saved
beat
his
the
job.
rival.
Yeah.
So congrats to him.
So
Good win for Auburn.
Number 12, Wisconsin went to number 8 with Minnesota. Again, this was another one. We had that question. Can Minnesota hang with Wisconsin?
No.
Row
they
the
couldn't.
boat. Row the boat. Row.
Yeah.
I just had such great expectations for Minnesota after they beat Penn State. I was just so excited because it's Minnesota. You never see this. It's so cool to.
Not for many, many decades.
Yeah,
We have not seen
it's
this.
just so cool to see.
Go
And
for it.
I mean, this is their second loss, so it's not a bad season.
Yeah.
No, they had a
But
good season
man,
overall,
Wisconsin
but
just
that was pretty painful for them. And
Yeah.
now Wisconsin, congratulations, y'all get to play Ohio State.
Rematch of a blowout from earlier.
Yes,
congratulations.
Exactly.
I don't think it's the right word.
Woo! Texas A&M played LSU, and no, they didn't.
It's a revenge.
They went
Yeah.
to LSU. They did not
good
play.
point. This is revenge.
Yes, it is.
This is
for last
revenge.
year. Absolutely.
Seven.
Thankfully, there were no overtimes in this
Yeah.
one. 50-7.
Yeah.
Absolute beatdown.
Yeah, I have a couple. So in my mind, Burrows has sealed himself as the Heisman winner. In my mind,
Yeah.
I do think he was
Yeah.
hands down doing. The
I
best.
know. What is it? Dobbins for Ohio State. He's also in there.
And so is
as
Fields
well.
technically,
Yeah.
and Hurts is still up there, but second half
Hurts.
was.
I don't think he's even
I think
close.
it's Fields.
I think it's Burrow will.
Yeah.
All right,
take
so
this
question
one away.
for you guys: can LSU move back to number 1
Yes.
in the the playoff polls?
No, it'll be Ohio State.
I mean, Ohio State looks shaky.
I think the resume is way stronger for LSU.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think-
50
but
to
I don't
7.
think they'll flip flop it just because of the.
I mean, we
results of
didn't
this
think they
week.
would last week though, and they did. So
Well, I think on paper LSU looks better to me.
I agree.
All right. Then Iowa State. They were number 23. They were facing Kansas State, and they didn't pull this one off.
I looked it up. Apparently, Kansas State was favored
Wow.
by 4 since it was at home. So this technically wasn't even an upset.
I would say I'm impressed. Kansas State, first year coach they got from North Dakota State or one of that 1AA schools.
Okay.
And I think the future's bright at Kansas State. To get
They
a coach
looked
like
good.
that.
They did.
And they knocked off a ranked team at one point. They didn't beat Mississippi State. I mean,
they only have 4 losses, I think, on the season. That's not awful.
Yeah.
Especially for a new coach.
watch out for this coach. I'm telling you, he won championships in the NAA. I think he could be a coach in the
Pay
round.
attention.
All right. And that's it for this week. No, we still
We can
have the
stop
upset.
there.
Okay. And how'd those go, Josh?
Not great this week. Rivalry week. I chose the wrong. Honestly, as far as upsets go, there really weren't that many this week.
True,
So I mean,
true.
even if I had chosen
really,
some
there
other
weren't
games,
any.
yeah.
I mean, Iowa State and Kansas State.
You could
technically
say
was not
Auburn is an upset over Alabama, but I mean,
Yeah.
Auburn's a good team. Any time in my mind that 2 ranked teams are going against each other, technically it shouldn't be considered an upset, right? Because these are 2 great teams. So, kudos to them. Anyways,
So number 11, Florida.
I should have known. I shouldn't.
You actually did know. You
And
said
I did.
it.
I even
At
said.
home versus Florida State.
Yeah,
Yes.
I even
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
Florida State hadn't lost yet. They hadn't really played anyone since firing Willie Taggart.
Yeah.
You had to have a good coach to beat Florida.
But I would say this: these players, like Odell, whatever his name is,
Yeah.
and they want to play for him. And you'd think that they would have tried to keep his job. If they could have beat Florida, there would probably be a lot more calling for maybe this guy to stay as coach.
Yeah, but I mean, it is Florida, who's
Yeah.
done fairly well for themselves this year.
Yeah.
And you are going against a team that's just trying to figure out what their other coach did to him before leaving or fired. Yeah.
Yeah. And your other one, Oklahoma, and at Oklahoma
This was
State.
close.
Yeah,
this was
it was.
close for the first half.
It was close.
Even down to
for a while.
it's beginning of the third quarter, and then Oklahoma pulled away.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, it's a rivalry game. I was hoping something would happen.
I don't think I've seen enough for Oklahoma out of this to vault them up unless complete chaos happens. Because
Exactly.
they weren't dominant enough
Yes.
down the stretch.
If you think Oklahoma wins the Big 12, they'll be playing Baylor. Do you think they can make it? I don't know. I just don't think I think Pac-12 and Big 12 comparing them.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know who I would put on top.
Yeah.
Anyways,
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, that was our week 14. Thank you for joining us, Bobby. Glad
be
to
back.
have you here. And hey, at this point, we're going to be talking next about bowl games.
conference champions.
That's it.